My grandfather joined the Army Air Corps when World War II was coming to a close. He fought both in Korea and in Vietnam. While being an Air Force pilot, he also managed to be a successful father to 7 children. 4 of his 5 sons chose to follow in his footsteps by joining the Army. One of those sons was my own father, who spent 9 years on active duty as a helicopter pilot and later retired from the National Guard. Military life has always been part of my family. Even my brother, when in kindergarten, always answered, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" with, "I want to be an Army man." One of my cousins serves our country today, and one of my sisters is married to a West Point graduate and Army Ranger. If you were to come to one of my family gatherings, you would find yourself caught in between 2 drastically different conversations at the dinner table. The women talk about children and grandchildren, while the men talk about their glory serving our country. I'm so blessed to be a relative of such patriotism. Although military life brings pride, it also brings sacrifice, not just to the service members, but also to their families. Living far away from your family, that is sacrifice. Not having a permanent home to raise your children, that is sacrifice. Saying goodbye to friends who are sent overseas to answer the call of war, that is sacrifice. In the case of my brother-in-law, Barry Ammons, to leave your wife and 2-month-old daughter, that is sacrifice. Leaving 2 to save thousands, that is sacrifice. I've always been proud of my family's fighting background, dating far back to General George Patton. However, it is not uncommon for me to wonder why. Why do individuals fight for people they may never know? Why do they leave their families to serve a war that may never end? Where do they find such courage? Where do they get their hope? I do not have to wonder too long before I answer my own question: for the love of our country. The love of our country is why our troops sacrifice their lives for the people that may never meet them and thank them. The love of our country is why they leave their families to protect their freedom. The love of our country is where our soldiers routinely and without fail find their hope and courage. The love of our country is the answer that our troops give every single day. The love of our country is our answer that our veterans here with us today gave years ago, and it is the answer that they still give. The passion to protect is never lost in the heart of a soldier. It still remains in the hearts of my grandfather, uncles, cousin, father, and brother-in-law. It still remains in the hearts of the brave men and women sitting here with us today. It is because of that passion that we can proudly say, "I live in America, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I live in the land of the free, in the home of the brave." Thank you.